That day, he's a captain today and he's leading them out. It's a huge game in Europe. Let's go to our commentary team of Ben Kay, Brian O'Driscoll and Nick Mullins.
And there'll be so many of us here this evening, Craig, who remember being here for that Toulouse semi-final when Ravenhill was a very different place. The days of the old wooden stands that used to vibrate with noise. I sat alongside an old Ulster great, Willie Anderson, that day, watching Bell and Humphreys and Mason and Longwell and Ward make history. Alan Clark and Bryn Cunningham have their own stories to tell as well, and they're both with us tonight as part of the coaching and management team. This, their Ulster 15 that's been filleted by injuries in recent times, last Friday against Edinburgh in particular. Ian Henderson's one of the international absentees. Robbie Dyack takes his place in the back row. Alan O'Connor deputises for Dan Toohey in the second row. Rory Best back as skipper. It's a back line that's had some reshuffling. Sean, as it is, of Bow, Cave, Payne, Olding and Nelson. Louis Ludick comes in at fullback. Craig Gilroy starts on the wing. And Stuart McCluskey steps up to partner Luke Marshall. Now, this is the kind of team that somewhere north of £20 million a year buys you. At the start of the weekend, when Dan Carter makes his debut for Racing, another former All Black, Luke McAllister, puts his best foot forward in a 10 shirt for Toulouse. He'll have Toby Flood outside him as a second distributor, making sure Ulster's defence is kept on its toes. Ficou, the ageless Poitrenaud, and their two wingers promise to weave colourful threads. It is Bonneval on the left wing, as Craig says, late change for Medard. Louis Picamol was rested during last weekend's win against Oyonnax, but he's wrestled the 8-shirt back from Aaron Ordicke. He's not even in the 23. Dusatoir is, of course, as is Johan Maestri. Amongst those held in reserve, Roger Wilson, a finalist in this competition for Northampton not so long ago. Conversely, it'll be Rory Scholl's European debut. Lamberley, Doussin and Palisson provide test match experience on the Toulouse bench. The last two played in a World Cup final. Tunnels, walls decorated with pictures of Ulster greats. Jack Kyle's there somewhere, Sid Miller, Willie John, Mike Gibson, David Humphreys. On the wall behind Thierry Dusatoir, the current crop, Trimble, Pienaar, Bow, Rory Best, and the real thing is standing next to Thierry Dusatoir, the captain, the inspirational figure, back on board, rested last Friday. He said it this week, tonight is non-negotiable. Having been beaten here by Saracens, they have to win this one. Two former winners. Ulster, famously, as we've been talking about, in 1999. Toulouse, a record 4 times over 15 years. A number Toulon are looking to equal this season. Two teams beaten by Saracens over the opening fortnight of Pool 1, meeting for the 8th time. 3 wins each, 1 draw. 35 all in 2000. Wayne Barnes in charge. Tim Wigglesworth and Paul Dix, the touch judges. Graham Hughes, the TMO. And Belfast was being buffeted by the front edge of Storm Desmond this time last Friday. Tonight's westerly wind, nowhere near as stiff. It's benign, barely a breeze. Ulster won the toss, and they will play for the first half as they like to play it, defending the War Memorial end.
Time on.
And they know that only one result will do them this evening. It's Toby Flood. Kicks the visitors off.
Play on.
A bit of confusion as the ball bounced on the 22. But the clearing kick is safe and long.
Yeah, the one person that also did want it to bounce into the hands of was Ruben Pienaar in a little bit of space.
Line's yours, White,
kick up
okay,
to the
line's yours.
line.
Use the line, I'll give you numbers.
Springbok ran affairs in his usual unflustered fashion last Friday against Edinburgh. Possibly Ulster's best performance of the season, a timely one. This is Corey Flynn. You'll recognise him from his time with the All Blacks. And there's another former All Black, McAllister. Looking forward to seeing him play today. Bouncing ball into the arms of Gael Ficou, elegant centre. And here's Flood, who's a man reborn. Clement Poitrenaud completing the link in the line, and the scrum half is Sebastian Bézi. He started to flourish under the new management, the new coaching team led by Ugo Mola. There's Bézi again to Flood, playing as first receiver, and there's McAllister, not the best of balls. But the threat, Brian, that Flood and McAllister posed, just swapping around as we talked about.
I think we got an inside track as to how we're going to see both of them playing first receiver at different times. Doesn't matter what numbers on their back, they'll fit in first and second receiver. It was very interesting off that first line that Toulouse short numbers, a banged of a team that has analysed Ulster and realised they're going to be hard pressing offline in particular. Dinked the little ball over the top just to keep them in check for that second one.
Once again, that white Ulster defensive line up very quickly, led by Chris Henry and co. Ulster in white, Toulouse in black, of course. And once again, it's McAllister chipping into what he hopes is space, but it was brilliantly covered by Louis Ludic. Goodness me, coming in tonight because Peter Nelson was one of those hurt last week against Edinburgh. How well did he do to get to that ball?
Superb play, but to back up what Brian was saying, again, Toulouse trying to slow down that line speed. And then when they get the opportunity, they'll go quickly themselves.
This is Bonneval. They had half an inkling that Maxime Medard might not make
come off the ball, please.
They were preparing to bring in Bonneval at the start of the day, and he's starting.
Yeah, you were on the ball, but you never came off.
Just this ball back inside again. The quick hands from McAllister, Flood drifting wide back inside. It just puts the brakes on of Williams. He has to rock back onto his heels. He can't go forward and make the big hit he wants to. They take the quick throw in, and that gives them a loose field. Williams competing hard over the ball, but gives away the penalty.
It's an area that Williams is particularly good at. He's very, very strong in the ball. First man, so you have to win the shoulder against him. If he locks onto it, the size and girth of his shoulders, you need some almighty hit to get him off that ball.
This is Flynn in his second season after arriving from Christchurch and the Crusaders, finding Dusatois, taken on by Joe Takori, over 30 tests for Samoa. A real handful when he gets motoring.
Just pass it backwards. First one forward pass, Scrum, thank you. Offload was forward.
A bit of a quizzical look on the face of Johan Maestri as he gets back to his feet.
Toulouse think it was stripped. The referee said he got a call from the touchline. Said it was just bad presentation. Corey pushing it through.
First scrum, balance.
Yeah, there's nothing in there from Ulster point of view. The only thing you could say is Williams lying there, but he's lying down so that the scrum half could pass over the top of him. Nothing wrong. Referee gets it spot on.
Paddy Wallace talked about that Ravenhill roar, getting that going. Well, it's funny.
Balance.
Those sort of calls, sometimes you need the crowd reaction for a referee to really sit up and pay attention, and that one worked in their favour.
Set.
Have the roar yet, but they've got the Ravenhill chorus, or the Kingspan chorus, if we're keeping the commercial department happy. Naughty bouncing ball that didn't quite come to heel for Poitrenaud. McAllister. Brezzy, the scrum half, and then McAllister. Ooh.
On me.
What's the decision?
He's in the best position.
Well, the decision from Paul Dix was that went straight into touch.
I don't know if it was the most pure strike that Luke McAllister's ever had. I don't think he was looking for that sort of trajectory, although it almost came off.
Ulster, please.
Millimetres in the end.
Only just clipped the line, didn't it? Wasn't far away. Back we come. Ulster
Wait,
line
please.
up.
7 is different to 6 plus 1. 6 or 7.
Referee just asking the question. Williams stood out at scrum half, but they've put Ruan Pinar in at the front, so it is a 7-man line out. Delivery's not good enough, though.
Back feet!
Behind Ruan Pinar. Nearing 90 Springbok caps after the World Cup. What experience he brings to nights like this. Oh, that's nicely done. Paddy Jackson providing the pivot in midfield. Taken on by Trimble initially, and then Trimble doing the clearing out. Pinar with Luke Marshall waiting in the blue hat. Marshall now directing affairs to the right, but Pinar goes to the left with Jackson, and this is Gilroy. Jackson going initially beyond Dyack, and still white Ulster possession. Well, that was neatly done to involve Marshall again.
Tackle!
Franco van der Merwe with the swing back pass. Dyack to find McCloskey. Williams was held up well by Yakuba Kamara. Well, that's been stolen back by Picamole, and furthermore they get a penalty.
Dusseltoire in there doing an exceptional job riding the challenge as Williams came in.
Off the ball for me.
Big explosive carry, but he almost absorbed that hit, let Williams go down and in over the top. Williams was given a tough pass, rocked him back a little bit, but some good play from Ulster. Definite tactic to trying to hold that Toulouse midfield and get around the outside. There's the tough pass, and as you can see, past the ball, maybe slightly fortunate as they went to their hands first on the floor. But here's how they hold Toulouse in midfield, just using really tight line from Marshall. And as he came back on that line, ball goes in behind him. And he found space out there.
Beyond 15.
It's the 5th time that Corey Flynn has thrown into the line out, and that was not great. It was won back by his opposite number, Best, on the floor.
And use it!
O'Connor's waiting for it. May well go beyond him. It's taken on by the young prop Carl McCall. Now this is Gilroy again. Scholes started last Friday. Scholes amongst those on the bench tonight. And then again, it's McCall, Kyle McCall. It's created such a buzz around these parts this season. Marshall. He had his regular muck at Darren Cave tonight. Taken on quickly by Pienaar, not hanging around. Have to work hard to win this back. Particularly with Joe Takori having a little look over the ball, but it remains Ulster possession. O'Connor again amongst those waiting. He drives it in. That's the Toulouse 22. Pienaar once more, playing with some pace here. Wallace linking up neatly with Marshall. They're playing it through the hands very nicely, Ulster. And again, it's McCall. This is van der Merwe.
Tackle only.
This is Robbie Dyack.
Hold.
Chris Henry. Big part of Joe Schmidt's Island World Cup squad. Big part of the continuation of this ball being driven towards a French try line. And once more, it's Gilroy. Jackson. Captain Rory Best. Into double figures, phase-wise, again with the fly half, again the scrum half. Ooh, and good tackle coming in initially from Takori, but on we go. Pienaar waits, beyond Dyack.
Lifted.
Best. Pienaar once more, and this is Williams, and that was very nicely done. Trying to twist and turn the key. Can they get that door ajar? Marshall keeps the ball in play just. Again, it's Williams. It bounced off the head of van der Merwe, but it went backwards. So this is Gilroy in a little bit of space, and he attacks what he thought was a hole, but Kamara holds him up just. Van der Merwe picked up by Ludic.
Stolen the ball, first man. Don't go in there, fellas. No, don't climb over the ruck. Back you go. First man, turn over.
18 phases and no more. Claire.
Got a bit of accidental offside, into your own man, into your own man.
That we will handle that
just accidentally
with a Toulouse scrum.
Frustrating there, Nick. Right at the end, you could just sense that Toulouse were starting to get tired. They weren't working the numbers around the corner the same way, and just a real disappointment. But going back a couple of phases, where Ulster busted them a couple of minutes ago, Gael Ficou eyes in that little Brumbies play out the back, and then good hands through to Trimble, Paddy Jackson around the corner, and they made 40 or 50 metres. Really, really positive stuff, and great lines of running from McCluskey and from Marshall.
It's not the only time that they've tried to hold Ficou like that.
Yeah.
We saw that little run around where it went to the forwards.
Just beyond the ball. Okay,
We saw Marshall coming round the corner.
Okay, take a second. Yeah?
Just obviously feel if they can run a big runner into Ficou's channel, he will get held, and there'll be space on the outside. Might not break the line there, but they certainly bend it, and you get those easy meters in the outside 15-metre channel.
He's not looking at all at the moment. Told Louis, flying Northampton's colours in Europe next season. The new man in charge, the new Guy Noves, Hugo Mola. Half a dozen French caps, you might remember, in the late 90s. 6 years as a player with Toulouse before moving on to the likes of Dax and Cast, and he'll be relieved to see one of his kingpins at the back of the scrum back on his feet.
From an Ulster point of view, what they'll be looking at is when they got through the phases, how disorganised the Toulouse defensive line became. You saw some of the faster centres who are feeling fresh, coming out of the line slightly, some of the bigger front row boys holding back. As the game goes on, if they can create those opportunities, the footwork of the likes of Marshall through the middle, McCluskey, Trimble, they'll all be eyeing up opportunities in and around, but particularly Ruan Pienaar in and around the base.
I couldn't agree with you more, Ben. That's, I think the more phases they go through, the more you have to see Trimble and particularly Gilroy getting the ball into their hand when there's tired bodies defending forwards, defending together. He's got to attack them, because his fitness and his speed will be the difference there.
It was good work by McCall on Johnston, but Toulouse managed to rescue the ball. Taken on by Vincent Clair. One of those old stages. This is Joe to Corey, top 14 winner with Cast a couple of years ago. Corey Flynn finds Flood, finds McAllister, and again those two just flicking around each other. Ficou to Poitrenaud. Bonneval beyond him, but he wasn't used. Brezzi to Flood. And again, it's the former All Black Flynn who takes it over halfway. Picked up by McAllister. This is Census Johnston. Corey Flynn's hurt himself. He's still face down in the turf. Ficou. Held up by Pienaar, but then he wrestles himself away from the South African. McAllister goes skyward. Gilroy, or rather Ludic, comes under to claim it. And claim it well. It's a scrap to win it back, however. And it's an illegal scrap. Penalty to lose.
7. Just gone straight off his feet, straight onto the ball.
Yeah, competition for the ball. You see
Clear was really
Gilroy
good for me.
in behind, tries to latch in on the ball, but he goes to ground. And then you can see those hands go past. There's no way he's supporting his own body weight. But I just wanted to look at the difference. We were talking about Ficou turning in. Watch Marshall with the blue scrum hat on the outside, how he doesn't turn in, and he holds and he holds and he waits for the men inside him to allow him to go. Yes, they lose a couple of yards on the outside, but look at all those white shirts. Really good outside centre defence.
Particularly with the trust, Brian, of playing outside McCluskey, something that he's not played 100 years outside. That's a decent bit of understanding between the two.
Absolutely, that communication is going to be key today, to make sure they're working in tandem, and not just when they're in defensive line together, but when they understand that they have to split on either sides of the ruck, on either side of the field, to make sure they get some speed on either edge so their wingers can drop back. Ben, we saw him hitting one or two pokey ones in the warm-up, and we thought, oh, he's only working off 60 or 70%. He still appears to only be working off 60 or 70% there. Not as pure a strike.
Well, 1 The pass from Flood looked forward, or at least those inside the ground were hoping that Wayne Barnes might join in the fun, but he was happy to side with the ex-Leicester man. This is Johnston, his little brother James, working his way with Wasps these days. Bezzy tackled on halfway, above his head by McAllister, flicks it back to Flood. Again, Fiku's there, and Bonneval's not far away. Picamole continues to be a real concern for Toulouse. He's down again, and I think that injured shoulder might cause an early change. It's looking that way. Meantime, McAllister finding Bonneval.
That's it. Good work, good work.
Yeah, Picamole is heading back to the tunnel. We'll bring on Julien Galland, who's a rumbustious character, to take his place. Meantime, on they go. That ball did go forward.
It's a big gap in behind. It's only just been spotted. Pienaar can't get the ball out. Now he has.
Oh, brilliant wing play from Vincent Clerc there. He looked at covering the space and then realised they were numbered down on the short side. Fantastic closing of that space.
Still in. Advantage over.
McCluskey. This is McCall. Jackson just pedaling backwards.
Hold forward,
fired away by Marshall.
Thanks, fella.
And that's a decent kick. He was actually playing at 12 last week alongside Darren Cave before Cave banged his shoulder against Edinburgh. And that's been Louis Picamole's problem early on here. He won't be adding to that vast number of carries that he notched up in the first 2 weekends, Ben.
Yeah, since he got that knock, you saw the man just walking into the back of the line out there, Joe Takori. He's been carrying really well, offloading out of the contact.
5-5.
Something that Ulster have to be really careful of, because if they tie in, try and put too many in to stop that offload, and it still gets away, creates a big overlap on the outside.
Toulouse line-out throw is going to be taken by Julien Marchand.
Here we come.
France under-20 hooker. On while Corey Flynn gets himself sorted out.
Beyond 15. Advantage.
Ticks out to Corey just. And the ball's been stolen. That was very nice work.
Advantage over.
Marshall. Oh, it goes beyond him to Ludic. And now Gilroy with a sprint for the line. Completely bamboozled Poitras and very nearly got there. This is O'Connor. Gonna have to be tidied up by Ludic. Couldn't quite do that. It was Galland, the new man there.
Ball out.
Making a right old nuisance of himself. Bezzy to McAllister.
Bring them on.
Just hoofs it long.
Yep. Winger's got them.
Pienaar.
Halfway line.
Only by inches, but just too long.
I was just about to say, Nick, that's what you get in Ruan Pienaar. You pay the big bucks for the players that identify where, when fullbacks or wingers are out of play, switch back into that deep position, really nice. Caught a ball and thought he had put it on a sixpence. Unfortunately, 6 inches too big, and line out back on the halfway line, but very, very close to being a brilliant piece of skill and intelligent football.
Okay, replacement done. Here we are. Thanks, fellas. Combien, s'il te plaît? Combien?
Corey Flynn's back with us. He's had 3 stitches in that cut.
6, fellas.
Underneath the left eye, but man who has turned 35 now is on, and he finds Camara. Camara, one of France's emerging talents, won the under-20 Six Nations Grand Slam season before last. He's a regular supply of ball from the line out, and he was there, and now Flynn drives it on himself. Pulled to the floor by O'Connor.
Brilliant from O'Connor, came through the middle. Title to attack the ball.
Joe Takori driving through, and he's working hard to win that ball back and working too hard.
You got him there.
And it's Chris Henry who gets back to his feet and gets a little service medal.
Yeah, you got him back there. That's perfect.
He's been a really important player for Ulster, not only this season and last season, but for 5 or 6 years now, and has played his way into the reckoning for Ireland and Joe Schmidt's team. He originally was just a periphery player, but was in the 23-man squad for nearly all World Cup games. Certainly the matches that was needed, a full-strength side. So a quality player and a really clever footballer too.
Complete.
Is Ireland's most capped hooker, watched by Ireland's former defence coach.
Don't step off.
So he's leaving Keith Wood in his wake these days. Best continuing to add to those caps, as he will during the Six Nations. This is McCluskey, powerful midfield option. Very rarely fails to get over the gain line. Jackson finds Marshall, running onto the ball and at an angle and at some pace. This is McCall. Jackson goes around the other side, but Ludick takes it on initially. Busy time ahead of him with Peter Nelson likely out for the rest of the season. And it's a penalty to Ulster.
Staying on top of it, you must roll clear, please.
The penalty goes against Van St. Clair. Not rolling away, which gave the opportunity for the support player to latch in on the ball.
Frustrating from the jackler's point of view, when you put your body on the line, put it in there to be kicked and to be smashed.
Now, how about this?
Look at that, going to the corner. As I was saying, the tackling player doesn't roll away. Why did I bother?
He wants him to hang in there just for a millisecond, doesn't he? Make sure that the support players can't get their feet in the right position and then get out of the way.
Again, it's another thing that's a super fine line, and a guy like Wayne Barnes won't have the wool pulled over his eyes in those situations.
Toulouse waiting for the man to come down before forming the defence, but Mike Williams tried to fly around the outside.
Great shot from Kakavan, but he's hurt his shoulder in the process. They might be wise to attack him again.
He's still there holding his shoulder on that blind side, but they go right instead with Van der Merwe. Pienaar to Best. McCluskey offering himself and then neatly done to Williams, who gets it down. Despite the best efforts of Gael Fickou, Toulouse defence breached by the giant that is Nick Williams.
Well, once he's through him behind you, no one's going to stop him. First of all, he comes around the front. It's a really good shot from Kakavan, stops him dead. And as they come round the corner, Toby Flood just gets tempted into the intercept. But his feet are planted. And a brilliant little outside swerve at the last minute from Williams. Just gets outside Flood, and you can see the realisation dawn on Flood's face. All my error. Just a really good delay on the pass. Made Toby Flood just think, yeah, I can get to this.
2 points for Paddy Jackson. The decision to go for the line-out, an inspired one.
They're always fine lines, aren't they? Brilliant decisions when you get over the whitewash. It's been one aspect of Ulster's play that's been really good. Those little tip-ons have to hard runners running really good straight lines back against the grain has been an aspect that they clearly worked on during the week, and getting those big ball carriers doing it.
When he's running against Toby Flood's thinking, well, I don't want to get too far away from my defender, so I'll stay fairly tight. But just because he runs that slight outside arc on his run, he gets away, just creates enough room. And Flood's left standing, two-footed, rocking back on his heels.
Roger Wilson is fit to take his place on the bench tonight, but they stayed with Nick Williams at 8, and it was the right decision. And now here goes Trimble. Haven't seen much of him on the right side. Much of what Ulster have done has tended to come down the left so far, but Trimble had a little charge forward then. That's been lost forward. Another angle on that try, Brian.
Yeah, just picking up on what Ben said. I just wonder when Toby Flood saw that it was Nick Williams coming at him, is he ever going to stop the man from 5 metres out? So he thought, I'll have a go at the intercept, and just was a fraction late on it. And you know, from 5 yards out, you need more more backup than just than Toby Flood there. He needs his defender to hit in with him. Unfortunately, he has his momentum, is able to carry the ball over the line. Great score from Ulster.
Yes, Toby Flood looked at his hand and decided it wasn't a winning one. So twisted on 20. There's Nick Williams, former junior All Black. That's Kakavin, Ben, who was, you mentioned...
It's the name of the wine you used to serve me, isn't it?
It wasn't that good.
Kakavin.
He's a Georgian test player, just missed out on the World Cup. He was only 18 when he first popped for his country. They build them tough in Georgia.
It was a great shot that he made on Williams. Very, very difficult when the player's coming straight at you. You're going to get that big collision. You've got no advantage as the tackler. Sometimes if you come in from the side, you can get them off balance, get them off the plane they're trying to run to. But there, he's probably feeling his shoulder. Just probably a little bit of separation. Maybe the nerve got stretched a bit. Not ideal when you've got to try and get your bind up in the scrum.
Set!
Svion Herbst will be very aware of the issues that Kakavin is under at the moment, trying to add to that pain. Johnston working hard on this near side as well. McAllister finding Bezzy. Poitrenaud.
Pull to floor by Black. Stay.
There's Johan Maestri.
Yeah, good competition.
McAllister, Flood. Oh, he did nicely. He's a tall, upright, elegant runner when he gets going, and he found some room there. Here is Kakavin, just short of the 22. Taken on by Dusautois. 60th European game. 3 of them have been finals. This is Julien Galland. Came on early for Louis Picamol, who banged his shoulder. McAllister once more with Fiku offering himself, but they got into a right old pickle there, and it was hacked on by McCluskey. And look how far McAllister's been shuffled back before he could get his hands on it, and he held on for too long. That was a costly mess in midfield. Back on halfway, Ulster penalty.
Yeah, brilliant kick.
It's close,
well,
I know what you're saying.
Eventually a kick chase, but just that pressure, that white wave coming through. You see, they're trying to play to one of them in the backfield. No one gets there, but now there's nothing McAllister can do. He tries to squeeze the ball through. It gets caught between the legs of Paddy Jackson. Gives away the penalty.
Just make sure you're clearing.
An opportunity now, Ulster, when you've got Nick Williams floating in and around there. The first line out, I think they were going to use him as a peel runner. They've stood him out in the back line now. That causes problems with that narrowing in defence. Toby Flood won't want to get too wide, create opportunities a little bit wider out for Marshall if they use him, or do they use Williams to get over the gain line?
Stay 10.
Well, that's
backwards play on.
Needs to be sorted out by Carl McCall, however. First Champions Cup start for him. Here goes O'Connor. First start of the season ahead of the injured Dan Tui. Again, it's McCluskey. All those little twinkling feet that we've talked about, Brian. He's much more than a steamroller.
He certainly is, and he's picking up from where he left off last week. There's a bit of a contentious tackle, but again, Ulster have been on the front foot. Their quality of rucking has been the difference so far, and justified by being in the lead.
Jackson holds on to it, driven to the line by Marshall. They fall 4 metres short, and then Pienaar loses it forward, but he lost it forward because Sebastian Bezzy was putting his spoon in a bowl of broth that he shouldn't have been.
Delivery, playing the ball off the floor, number 9.
Just that weight of pressure, isn't it? Once you get in behind a team and you know that it's come about through quick ruck ball, as Brian was saying, that desperation comes in because Ulster want to go quickly around the corner. They've got an overlap. See all those black shirts get dragged in. If that ball comes away quickly, they're in trouble. And a cynical hand just comes in, doesn't even roll away, get back to his feet. Fully deserves the yellow card.
Really nice contest in the scrum. Nice height from both of them.
Paddy Jackson with the simplest of opportunities to add to the only score of the game so far, the converted Nick Williams try as we approach half an hour. Best half an hour of Ulster season so far. They lead Toulouse, the 4 times champions, by 10 points to 0. Hugo Mola in charge of Albi last season. Douce-Toit, and no great urgency to get this match back underway.
Yeah, go on, thanks, mate.
They're certainly in no rush, Nick.
Pienaar. Oh, he was hoping that Trimble might have been up a little bit closer than that.
Don't go too far beyond.
The start to just the most fantastic weekend here on BT Sport. Dan Carter's debut in Paris tomorrow against Northampton. Treviso against Stade as well. Leicester and Munster's pool, and then Munster against Leicester. BT Sport Europe, an evening in Limerick.
St Clair taking on the scrum half duties. Bezzy off the field.
Taken on by Takori. This is Galin. First time in Europe for him this season, from a French under-20 player.
Clear more.
Corey Flynn has it. Still has it. And a little
that mark, please.
break off the side.
Advantage, Noir.
Toulouse penalty coming.
See, Toulouse down to 14 men, no out-and-out scrum half, so they play a tighter game. That rolling drive wins them the penalty. Still a little bit inaccurate, Brian. When they had the free shot, they went round the corner, ball goes to ground, they'll be upset with that.
Yeah, small bit disorganised and some uncharacteristic balls on ground. Some you expect from Toulouse really high quality passing accuracy, but you know, McAllister and Flood have both thrown a couple of loose ones on the ground, and Fiku's kind of had to make the most of really bad balls. So probably as well, you know, your 9 is, I would imagine, is probably the worst position. You're 9 or 10 to lose for 10 minutes to the bin. Everything goes through them, so they'll have to do a big reshuffle, and hope Vincent Clerk knows a few of the scrum and line-out calls.
Well, he hit it with much more purpose, but with not a great deal more direction. And it remains 10-0 beyond the half-hour mark.
Okay then, fellas.
Sebastian Bezzy as an alternative kicker, although of course he's no alternative right now, sitting as he is on the bench. This Flood, who is not receiving an awful lot of sympathy from the Belfast locals. This is Galin, who is not one of life's most beautiful runners, but you try and stop him. He's enjoying himself. Almost up to the 10-metre line.
Not the most beautiful runner, do you mean running style or?
A little bit of both, I think. Here goes Flood. He does have some elegance about it. Oh my goodness. Andrew Trimble. And Bonneval.
No hands! No, it's okay, he's gone off his feet, mate.
Claire.
Let him go!
Having to act as emergency 9 for the time being. Midway through the yellow card for Bezzy. Here goes Galin. And McAllister, and Marshall was up quickly and did just enough to disrupt Poitrenaud. There's a little bit of a knock-on in the process as well, but on we go. Fiku. McAllister, here goes Galin again. He's getting through a lot of work.
Advantage over from the knock-on.
McAllister. Corey was offering himself. Instead it was Flood, and this is Bonneval.
Don't go in that. Feet only.
Clare. Tackled by McCall. Flood to Johnston.
See that extra delay without a nines, meaning that Flood can't get on the front foot as much as he wants to. He's wanting to play really flat at the line, but he's having to hold back. Clare only just arriving now. He wasn't even at the last breakdown.
Go in the side now.
It's Marshall slowing things down, hauling Dusatoir to the floor. Here goes Johnston.
That is lost forward.
Diak down there, telling the referee exactly what had gone on. And it is Ulster possession.
Feet only.
Pienaar doing well to collect a ball that came to him a little bit sooner than he was expecting. Jackson, Louis Ludic, best. 2-3 metres. And then Pienaar sensing some space. Pressure on Bonneval provided by Trimble, and he's got some help from Henry as well. And then Maestri clears the shed.
You can't play the 9. You can't play the 9.
Seems happy
the
with...
The fine was legal, but you can't touch
the clear out. The referee saying the clear out's legal, but you can't play the 9.
Yeah, what shot? Please?
As he goes fishing in for the ball. Does he keep his feet? See, I think that is a tough call because there's no one else on their feet. And the ref. So if you see that as a player come in, you're going to think that that player is over the breakdown. But he certainly catches him with his shoulder in his face. The referee wants to have a look at that.
It's very interesting because...
Let's have a listen to this, sorry.
My original thought was he used an arm, but now I'm checking if he has used an arm.
Okay, I'll put it up on the screen.
Thanks.
My initial view is there is an arm there, but I'm not sure whether he uses it.
Yeah.
Television match official in our truck is Graham Hughes.
Oh, no, I don't need you.
That right arm is underneath.
Please.
I think he does.
I think he does too, but also I think Vincent Clerc has a knee on the ground, which makes him part of the ruck.
Have we got anything from the side as well? Because that's looking like there's no attempt to grasp there.
He does, you're right. Oh, he just gets up at the last minute, but Williams is already committed there, isn't he?
You see any attempt to grasp?
No, but he does go with his left hand, but he seems to then catch the player.
Oh yeah, his left arm I'm not interested about. His right arm is tucked in. Yeah. He's not trying to grasp him.
No.
Thanks. We're talking.
That's a perfectly good clear out.
Thanks. My initial thoughts was that you used an arm, but looking at the screen, it's clear you don't. You tuck your left arm, your right arm in. Just wait 1 second. Get him off. Make sure.
I think that arm comes in. He's going to try and lift the leg and drive the man out of it. I think that's a really harsh call, Brian.
I agree with you. To come in with that level of impact and get your arm there and to keep it there, you just have to show intent in getting it up there. It's not going to stay. But when you make that level of impact, as you saw how quickly Clerc rolled backwards, that force is not going to allow you to get any sort of grabbing action. It did follow through at the end.
It's just one of those ones that doesn't look particularly good, does it? That's what the referee has a look because it doesn't quite look right. But I think you're right. I think he's done everything right.
So a try and now a yellow card for Nick Williams. A little wry smile on the face of Corey Flynn as he realised that they weren't exactly rushing to take that line out. Still got 2 minutes left on the Bezzy yellow card, so 14 against 14.
Really strong ball. You see Henry in at the side a little bit there, but they're just stepping out every time the white shirts come in. Just stepping out, going round the corner. It's a really impressive drive. They need to use it next time it stops, though.
Here goes Galan.
Still saying more. And the ball's available.
Clerc, emergency scrum half. McAllister. Held on too well by Jackson. Dusatoir. He's retired now from Test match rugby. all of his heart, all of his energies going into this club. This is Maestri Dusatoir and Picamol all started the World Cup quarter-final against New Zealand in Cardiff. Picamol won't finish this match. He was an early replacement for the bang to the shoulder. Fiku, who rather went beyond Trimble.
They've not committed very many numbers to that ruck. Toulouse out in the wide channels. The backs have to look at resourcing that. They didn't do it on that occasion. Ulster ploughed numbers into the ruck and managed to get a turnover.
5 metre lines was right.
You were just not so long ago marking your card for our plans this weekend, and hopefully your plans as well. Munster against Leicester on BT Sport Europe. And then on Sunday, Eddie Jones planning to be at the Ricoh for Wasps against Bath. Evening kickoff. All the highlights from round 3 from 7:30. So much to look forward to tonight, tomorrow and Sunday. Martin Bayfield, Hugo Monya and Lawrence Delalio are team on Sunday.
You okay?
While you were talking there, Nick, we just saw the most magnificent banana kick from Ruan Pienaar. He made all of 45 metres on a very, very tight angle. That is the brilliance of a guy like that in your team. He's able to just keep your team going forward, particularly having just had a man put into the bin.
Snatched out of the air by Obidiak.
Once!
Oh, and then he was tripped, surely tripped by camera, but on they go. And this is Trimble chasing his own ball. Where's the bounce? It's into his arms. And he scores Ulster's second try. A man down, but 2 tries up.
Fantastic line break from Andrew Trimble. I think the referee might have been going back to see if that was an accidental trip or not. It didn't matter in the end, but both myself and Ben were holding our heads in our hands. A simple pass. I don't know who the support runner was.
Pienaar gets back to his feet, chases on the inside, on the left-hand side of your screen.
On both sides, and Jackson too, but luckily for Trimble, the ball bounced up beautifully for him, and he gets into his hands, and again, a lovely little score, but still a great reaction. Pienaar didn't give up. He didn't go milking the penalty.
I think the referee's just seen the trip.
Looking at foul play against Black. Yeah, go on, mate. Put him up.
Well, they're going to have another look at the trip. They may well restart this with a penalty and perhaps a card.
At the trip. Yeah.
Now, how much does Cameron know about this?
A lot.
He knows all about it, doesn't he?
Black, clear trip.
Clear trip.
6. As he's broke away, clearly tripped.
I think he knew that if he'd been seen, he was in trouble.
That's one of those that people will say it's petulant. That's one of those that he didn't expect that trip to come off, and he's paid the price. Actually, he's done no good really at all. He hasn't stopped Pienaar being able to break, but he's just stuck a foot out just because he could, and it's cost them another 10 minutes in the bin, and it didn't even stop the try. Lovely little chip, sits up.
Tommy Bowe is amongst those on the list of high-profile absentees, but Trimble in his 11th season as an Ulsterman. A record 23 European tries now, celebrated by one of the winners in '99, Alan Clark. And Camera's half-time break starts about 30 seconds before everybody else's.
Breakaway!
Brezzi is back with us, but that'll do for the first 40. 3 yellow cards, but most importantly, 2 tries for Ulster. Nick Williams and then Andrew Trimble just before half-time. What a score. Ulster 17, Toulouse 0.
what a story developing here at the Kingspan Stadium. Les Kiss should be a very happy director of rugby. His team are 17 points ahead of Toulouse here. 17-0 the score here in Belfast. A really, really good first half from Belfast. Just to give you the heads up on a bit of football coming your way tomorrow. Fletch and Sav live, BT Sport 1, 10 o'clock. Ray Wilkins, Darren Eady and Anthony Gogo are the guests there. And then we've got Norwich against Everton live, BT Sport 1 HD. Jay Scott, Steve McManaman, Owen Hargreaves and Chris Sutton with him for that one. But let's talk about the first half there. A really good half of rugby. The best you've seen Ulster play this season?
Oh, without doubt, yeah. I mean, right from the get-go, they showed an incredible amount of intent in how they wanted to play, and that came from running the ball from deep through Jackson. They tapped and went at penalties. They kicked penalties to the corner as well. So their intent right from the start was to go out and win the game, which is great to see.
Yeah, everything they've done tonight, the way they're hitting the line, the way they're carrying ball, it's done aggressively. They're sucking in defenders. So much intent, as Paddy said, and that's how the first try came about there.
Yeah, well, at times they're making defenders go out of their system because they're worried about the big ball carriers. And Nick Williams is a prime example. You see him coming around the front of the line out. He can dent people. They defend this really well. Big hit there, but he doesn't stop there. He comes around the corner and now he's running at backs, and you see Robbie Diop, really brilliant pass. The delay on it was perfect, but Toby Flood didn't want to get too far away from his inside defender, and as a result Williams just runs that slight outside curve line. The delay of the pass is brilliant, and Toby Flood gets lost in no man's land, and the only thing he can do is go for the intercept, which he wasn't going to get.
Anyone who's watched and followed Andrew Trimble over the last couple of years will be just so happy for him to see us score a try here in front of a home crowd. Bedevilled by injuries, but my word, he still has pace and power and great vision too, Paddy.
Yeah, I'm delighted for Andrew. He's had a rough old season, but yeah, great skill from Ryan Pienaar. Even when he was tripped to make that pass and put Andrew through the gap. And he did have support inside and outside, but he backed himself. He made his decision to chip, and he executed very well, and the ball bounced up kindly for him. So I'm absolutely delighted for Andrew, and it puts a bit of breathing space going into the second half now between the two teams.
Scored try as well when Nick Williams was in the bin as well is really good against a strong Toulouse side, but 3 yellow cards so far. But let's talk about Nick Williams' yellow card. A little bit harsh, Ben, you'd have to say.
I just think it's one of those ones that just didn't look good to the referee, and they always say paint a picture to us that looks good, and you can see, as Brian made the point, that he's on his knees, so he's part of the ruck. He's almost bound in blocking. He's entitled to take. That's not the 9. You can take him out. And the referee's saying he didn't use his arm. I just wonder whether he's got it underneath him, trying to lift up the player. The referee can't see that, and he's gone to the bin. I just think it's quite a tough
I agree
ball.
totally with that, and I think if it's not Nick Williams, if it's somebody like a smaller version, like a Paddy Jackson or something, the referee just doesn't even give a penalty there, because, as you say, he wasn't the scrum half. He was acting as part of the ruck. He was entitled to hit him, and he did show some effort to bring an arm round. So I think it's just the fact that he's the bulldozer that is Nick Williams, and the result of it didn't match the intent.
Quick line, Paddy, on whether Ulster can keep up this pace in the second half, because they are playing with a lot of pace. They're dragging Toulouse right across the park, left and right. It's going to be a tough second 40 for them.
Oh, it will be, and Toulouse will come out all guns blazing in the second half. But you see the intent in Les Kiss's team talk there at half time. He realised this game isn't over yet, and Toulouse are capable of scoring 2-3 tries at a rate of knots. So a repeat performance of the first half is what's required again.
Yeah, and just really good rugby from both sides. A real joy to watch. I hope you're enjoying it at home. Ulster currently lead 17 points to 0, and look at that lot. They're absolutely delighted with it. They've been on a weird win-loss run. Is that about to break tonight? We'll find out after this short break. Second half to come. The Ulster team have talked about recapturing the spirit of '99 when they won one of these. They've certainly done that so far. They're beating Toulouse, the 4 times European champions, 17 points to 0. The atmosphere is absolutely brilliant here in Belfast, and a really good first half of rugby. Just to give you the heads up, we've got Scottish football on Sunday. Celtic against the Johnson. You don't want to miss that, and you certainly don't want to miss the second half of rugby coming your way. To talk you through it, Mr. Nick Mullins.
Thank you, Craig. There's been a change at half-time. Gregory Lamberley has come on to replace Julien Galland, who was only with us for 25 minutes. He replaced, you'll remember, Louis Picamol, so the replacement's been replaced. Interesting to see how they shift around that back row that now consists of Camera, Dusautoir and Lamberley, and there's the rather forlorn-faced Julien Galland. worked his socks off in the 25 minutes that he was with us, but that will be it. And here immediately involved is the new man, Lamberley. Dusatois. 80th and final test cap against New Zealand. This is his 60th European game. Continues to tot up pleasing looking numbers. Reminder that both sides starting the second half down to 14. Nick Williams has got about 5 minutes left on his yellow card. Yakuba Kamara, best part of 10 minutes on his. He was yellow carded just before half time. Here goes Ludik. First 40 minutes and 3 yellow cards, 2 tries, both of them to Ulster. This is McCluskey. Taken in by Dyak. Blow of losing Ian Henderson beyond the Six Nations, we reckon. Serious hamstring injury for Henderson. Such a blow for Ulster and for Ireland and for the Six Nations. Need players like him. Ludik ran into Flood and Dusatois, and it was Dusatois who made the biggest of hits, but still Ulster ball taken on by Best, the captain. Marshall provided the link, and this is good again from Ulster with McCluskey. No Jared Payne or Stuart Olding or Darren Cave after his injury last week, and Marshall providing the link to Dyak, and the ball is down, and Gilroy was so close, but the speed of the hands and the speed of thought.
Lost forward from the winger.
But it has been lost forward.
I lost it forward. And the next
Brilliantly picked pass from Luke Marshall, it is, and has the wherewithal to get the ball away. The ball is in the wrong arm. For every young kid out there watching, he's got to transfer that ball into his left arm, get it as far away from Vincent Clerc. He targets the ball and knocks it on over the line. Fantastic defending, but a little bit of a schoolboy error from Craig Gilroy not getting in the corner there.
Just same discipline on their line.
He's been scoring lots of tries in the Pro 12, 4 so far this season. That ought to have been one in the Champions Cup. But it was great work from Vincent Clerc. No one knows how to score tries in Europe like him, but he's just saved one.
Well, if they can get the hit on here, new number 8.
A second, please, David. Watch stop.
A little bit nervous looking at the back there. You can see him on his knee.
No, it's okay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Just want to get that half shunt on him as he goes to control the ball.
Watch on. Crouch!
Right shoulder, forced Pickmore to leave us early on.
Bind! Fully engaged. Clearly all fully engaged.
It's an easy get out for Toulouse. Wayne Parnes decided they didn't wait for the engagement.
Ireland's forwards coach, Simon Easterby. Ireland against Wales in the Six Nations, the first Sunday in February. Just a reiteration of the calls between McCall and Best.
Both.
Taken by Dyak. Six from 6 line-out wise, and it is Best who throws it in now, driving it forward. Not for much longer. Oh, that's nicely done by Gilroy. All those flashing feet in orange.
Big overlap now.
Jackson, can he find it? Trimble! There's a swarm of black shirts around him, but there might be spaces elsewhere as a result. Pienaar clapping for the ball. Back inside, and Dyak stretching, and I think it was it Brezzi who was there.
We've got to go left.
Marshall all on his own on the left wing. Vincent Clerc screaming for support. Crossfield kick.
Pienaar sees him. What's the quality of the kick like? It is perfect. Luke Marshall and Ulster in full flight.
Well, Vincent Clark's so narrow, he's by the post. So as the kick comes in, he's got no option but to get blindsided and sprint towards the touchline. Unfortunately, he can't judge the flight of the ball. Lovely little footwork from Gilroy, gets in behind, shortens the defensive line. They break to the right, big overlap there. That drags all those black shirts over into the corner. So as they come back, Vincent Clark's the last man, he's by the posts. Nothing they could do.
And it's 24-0. Try converted.
This is as they come back, all those black shirts in and around. Pienaar spotted it. And look at Clerc, he's got no clue where the ball is. Just good
it wasn't clear
control from Marshall. Doesn't get carried away, knows the hit might come in. Just does his job, dots it down.
Ben, we've made reference to it a couple of times about Ruan Pienaar. He's just a calm head on those shoulders. He just doesn't panic at any stage. A lot of players get white line fever, just want to dot it down close to the ruck. He knew that there was space out wide, and a beautifully weighted left foot kick. And again, as you said, Clerc running blind. The only opportunity was for it to hit him on the head.
Clearance from Pienaar. Chased by Trimble. Oh, and that's been lost forward by Takori. It's all a little bit rough at the moment, a little bit rough and ready. Let's have a word with Ulster coach Neil Doak. Neil, we're enjoying this. What about you?
Yeah, no, it's a great atmosphere. You know, we talked about trying to get an excitement into the game for the crowd to get into it, and the boys have done particularly well now in the first 50 minutes here.
What is it about the way you're playing at the moment that is particularly pleasing? We reckon it's probably the best you've played so far this season. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's we talked about it all week, about playing with tempo, and you know, maybe it was going to play into Toulouse's hands, but we've shown tonight that you know, we've got some threats across the paddock, and you know, the boys have done brilliantly tonight.
Yeah, a real sense of adventure. You've not been cowed by them in any way.
No, definitely not. You know, look, we back ourselves, and we've got some quality players. You know, internationals across the table, and you know, we've played particularly well with the ball in hand. We've got to make sure we close the game out well and finish on a real high.
Good luck, Neil. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fellas,
Now the head
first half
coach.
was spot on. Let's get back to those standards.
He was looking after affairs as the main man in the Champions Cup last season, while Les Kiss was with Ireland.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit far side, bit this side as well. Same as the first half, please. Let's get balanced.
Census Johnston hunkering down for his 50th European match. The Samoan. Still alongside Corey Flynn. And on this near side, the Georgian, Vasil Kakavin.
Bind! Set!
Quick ball off the scrum. Pienaar feeds Marshall. At least he was trying to. Jackson took it on. Now Marshall gets hold of it and does well to hold on to it.
Just needed it a little bit earlier, didn't he? He was trying to catch those guard defenders looking in at the breakdown.
Jackson. This is Trimble. He's had one of his better games for a while, Andrew Trimble. Now Van der Merwe. Oh, nicely done. Now, what about McCall? And this is Bett. And this is Marshall again. In search of what would be the bonus point securing try. And we've yet to play 50 minutes. Thrashing away. Here's O'Connor.
Gilroy scream at Diat to run a short line so he can take the ball in behind.
Tackle from Kakavin, but it was chest high rather than anything more than that. But the penalty comes for not rolling away.
Hands on top of the ball, that caused you to be able to get to the ball. One roll away, please. Ball's live.
Toulouse. Yakubi Camera not far away from coming back, but they're really having to hold on here.
Yeah, and again, you just see the work of Van der Merwe to take out 2 extra defenders, create a half chance on the outside, and then all those black shirts have to come flooding across again.
Okay, scrum.
Just needed Rory Best to be selfish there. Sometimes, you know, you feel as though, oh, there's potentially numbers on the outside here, I got to give the ball. He needed to throw a dummy, something he's very capable of doing, a lovely ball player, but he threw it out to Marshall. Unfortunately, he had to step in, and it killed the play. But really good stuff from Ulster. I think that, you know, there's confidence coursing through their veins now, and it seems like it's only a matter of time before this fourth try bonus comes.
All change in the Toulouse front row. Kakavin, Flynn and Johnston, replaced by Cyril Bay, Dorian Aldegheri, the tight head prop, and Julien Marchand, who we saw a little bit of in the first half, but we'll see no more of Census Johnston. It's been a testing evening for Ugo Mola. It's so strange to see the Toulouse main man not crouching down on the touchline with his chin in his hands, looking concerned about something or other. Guy Neves preparing France for bigger fish these days, but it's Ugo Mola's job now.
5, 6.
Gilroy directly in behind the scrum. It's causing question marks for the Toulouse backline defence. Lotrenault having to hover, not sure where to go.
It's picked up by Williams, who got the ball rolling in the first half with the first try. Fourth try, the target now. O'Connor. No Dan Tui today. Fractured his ankle. Best. Williams once more. Roger Wilson remains an option on the bench. That's frustrating.
Great steal.
18 on his feet.
Now Brian has been doing some overtime to give us a little bit of analysis on this third try, Brian.
Yeah, it was a brilliant try. We talked about the calmness of Pinar. As we said, all children watching out there can't take their eye off the ball. Ball's up here, it's turned to his back, and everything is in Marshall's favour there. He's able to catch the ball cleanly and run in under the sticks. Great try, and more really good stuff from Ulster.
5, 6.
The penalty goes against
5 offside.
to Corey. He was given the warning. What should Vincent Clerc have done in that situation, Brian? Just backpedal a little bit more, give himself a bit more room?
It's a really tricky one because they were clearly outnumbered and he didn't anticipate the kick going across. It was a fantastic left-footed kick from Pinar. So, taking that into consideration, he felt he needed to shoot in and leave the last man, but you always have to keep the ball in sight. As soon as you turn your back to it, everything favours the attacker, and as it worked out, he lost the flight of the ball, and Marshall had a clean take.
Problem is, you've got to do a bit of both, because if you backpedal completely, then you lose the strength in the air. You can't compete in the air. It's exactly what Nandolo did for Fiji against England in the first game of the World Cup, when England were backpedaling, and there's no way you're going to win that contest.
Here is Roger Wilson, finalist with Northampton 4 years ago now, but a Belfast boy and back in Belfast, replacing
Who's receiver?
Nick Williams,
2
who's
metres.
had another one of those storming, wood-chipping type of games. Scored the first try. They've got 3. Taken in by O'Connor. Now they're in a decent position here. If they can keep it off the floor, they've got a penalty.
Advantage side entry.
Wilson calling for it. Pinar slams it out to Jackson, and this is Marshall over the top. Looking for the fast feet of Gilroy. Taken in again by Luke Marshall. Half a dozen Ireland caps. He's back to somewhere near his best tonight. Jackson gives it some air. This is McCluskey. He's got best. McCluskey will go for the line, and he'll score. Try number 4. And it is going to be the best of evenings for Ulster. Beaten here by Saracens on the opening weekend. They've got their Champions Cup campaign back on balance. 29-0.
Yeah, he highlights Maestri, he goes towards him, drifts on the outside and then straightens. So he creates a 2-on-1 on the inside and then holds on to the ball. Lovely footwork. He's been a little bit quiet in comparison to Luke Marshall. But at the vital time when they need the bonus point, he steps up with just really good control play, good decision making, spotting the mismatch in the outside centre channel. And just that outside break and then the cut just forces Bonneville to step in, but then he creates the 2-on-1. Bonneville has to go, and he leaves too much for the big second row to do on the inside.
Exactly what you're looking for from a 12 or from a centre position. You're looking at those mismatches out in midfield. I think there was a number of forwards defending together, and Rory Best did him a huge favour in attracting Bonneville in and able to burn Maestri on the outside.
Meantime, Toulouse have made a change at scrum half. Sebastien Bézi has been replaced by Jean-Marc Doussin. Doussin, number 22, taken on by number 18, who is Dorian Aldeguerri, another fresh face who's made his way via the academy. Here's Fiku.
It's no time for tricks.
Backwards, backwards. Like so.
Doussin firing it wide. Eventually it reaches Lamberley, who joined us at the start of the second half. Camera, yellow card that overlapped the end of the first half and the beginning of the second. McAllister's waiting for it. By, for the time being, not interested in relinquishing it.
No, it just went backwards.
Now McAllister. Bonneville, but not on the same wavelength. It's been a strange old night for Toulouse. They really have not been with it at large swathes of this match. Ludic has it. Dayak.
No!
Ulster splitting the field. Jackson with the left-hand contingent, along with Gilroy. Ludic holds on to it. Pienaar once more to Paddy Jackson. Sees a little bit of space over the head of Vincent Clare.
Options.
Right wing was patient. What of Toulouse?
I think giving huge credit to Ulster, I think they've been very, very impressive, both in defence. I think particularly defensively, that's what's really stood out for me. Toulouse has been pretty poor in both attack and defence. I think a huge amount of unforced errors, something that you don't associate with Toulouse. This brilliant ball handling, this ability for everyone to pass. They just look very fractured, and there doesn't look as though there's any real cohesion to their play.
It's nice balance.
And included, I think a couple of their key players have obviously gone off. Piccamole is a huge loss to any team, but their key guys at 9 and 10 haven't really controlled things the way you would have anticipated.
Large cheer for the arrival of Rob Herring, the departure of Rory Best. Herring, who led the side in the absence of Best last week against Edinburgh, leading the side again now.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
It's been a very unsatisfying performance by the French side.
Just nothing's gone right for them, have they? Think of those Toby Flood missed penalties early on, which might have given them a foothold into the game.
Return fixture in Toulouse next Sunday, the Stade Ernest Vallon. Ulster, a reminder, a game behind most of the others because the match against Oyonnax was postponed for reasons that we all understand. That's been rescheduled, by the way, for Sunday, January the 10th. So Ulster will play their last 3 pool 1 games in a row. Oyonnax away, Saracens at Allianz Park, and then Oyonnax at home here. What they hope will be a tilt at a place in the quarter-finals. They're giving themselves a chance here tonight.
Beyond 15.
A bit of defending to do. Lamberley driving through. There's an appeal that the ball was lost forward, and Wayne Barnes was inclined to agree.
Just touching on the fixtures now, Nick. With Oyonnax playing back-to-back games against Saracens, with every possibility of losing those two, it might actually work in Ulster's favours, where they find themselves playing opposition that know they're out of the competition, really have a focus on the top 14, and so they could have a real cut off them when they play them over there. And then obviously the last game, knowing what they may have to do.
That's what it looks like at the moment. Saracens are at Oyonnax on Sunday.
Nice and flat.
Saracens at the moment very much in the box seat after their win here, of course, but a fair way to go yet. So a defensive scrum for the new skipper, the new hooker,
Crouch!
Rob Herring, to contemplate.
Bind! Set!
Taken by Wilson. Into Dusatois and to Corey. Doing his job.
Did well, Wilson, because the scrum wheeled the wrong way for him. He had to come back against the grain, which gave Dusatois the advantage.
Quality of the pass from Pinar as well, just flat, sharp, quick Brian, half a second, but it's an extra half a second to get it away.
He's done very, very little wrong. He just seems to make all the simple decisions, all the really effective ones at the right time. And it's that cool head that you need, particularly with so many leaders and so many key people missing for Ulster. To have him in there, he's the constant in all the good things that they're doing. Everything, he's the fulcrum that everything seems to be running through.
You might have heard him on Rugby Tonight Extra just before this programme talking that he's got mixed thoughts about living with Les Kiss as a neighbour. Means that the pizza delivery van gets noted every time it pitches up, but I think Ruan Pinar's exactly the kind of professional that Les Kiss likes. A little bit of extracurricular going on the side of that ruck. And ball as well, and it continues as well. It's Rob Herring and Camera. Meantime, there's some defensive work to do, and Chris Henry trying to work his way over the top, but in the end to no effect. McAllister takes the hit.
No advantage. 17 deep.
So Andy Warwick, first European game this season.
17 collapse.
One area that has gone reasonably well for Toulouse is the driving line-out when they've been able to secure their own ball. Haven't really had an opportunity where they've won the ball close to Ulster's line, but from midfield they've looked destructive.
This is Julien Marchand, one of those who might have noted Dimitri Zarzewski's retirement from Test match rugby with interest this week. Marchand, French under-20 caps. Taken by Lamberley, high. Stalwart, part of the cup-winning squad a dozen seasons ago now. This is McAllister running into one of the try scorers, McCluskey. McCluskey doing his best to hold him up.
Don't go inside. No.
Maestri. Toulouse looking for their first point. It's been a couple of years since they failed to score any points in a match. Into the final quarter here, and Dusatois giving it a thrash.
Yeah, the volume level of the Ravenhill faithful going up a gear. They want this a nil. They're going to have to work exceptionally hard now. Good position.
Taken by Doucet, and he's lost it. And the ball's gone loose.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to employ Graham Hughes here.
Possibly two knock-ons, actually. Usually, so before the grounding very close to the line, there's perhaps a knock-on the lead up to it, so look at that, and then if you're happy with that, move on to whether the grounding's correct, yes or no.
Okay, we're checking both the groundings. Okay, we'll have a look.
It's not the first grounding, it's just whether he knocked it on it.
Yeah.
So this one.
It was Trimble who got his left hand in the way.
It's whether he controls the second grounding. The ball's knocked away from Trimble. It goes backwards out of the hand, so that's fine. You can play on that.
So it's a knock on, it's gone forward, yeah.
Does he manage to control it here as he goes over?
They've already taken the decision that there was a knock on in the middle of all that.
In the it's not a rip, it's a bit different, okay?
But it still went backwards.
I just thought it hit your arm. For me.
You disagree, Brad?
Yeah, I don't know.
Another one, no.
Jean-Marc Dusan, forever known as the man who made his Test debut in a World Cup final, came on for the last 5 minutes. That didn't go his way. Let's have one more look at this.
That goes backwards out of his hand.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking there was a forward knock-on from Andrew Trimble in the tackle.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at the scrum over here, and he's giving it to Ulster. I'm confused. I'm with you, Ben.
So they didn't even look at the grounding because they thought that the first one was a knock-on by Toulouse. Very strange.
Set.
Ulster will accept it, though.
It's rapidly turning into one of those nights where Toulouse can't wait to get back on the plane.
They'll be very, very keen to get something on the scoreboard. Obviously, it'll have to be a try at this stage. They're not going to be kicking any points because there is something extra humiliating about being nilled, particularly when the opposition have scored 31 points. To not get one yourself is pretty hard to take, particularly a team of Toulouse's calibre and expectation levels.
So remember, 3 Ulster changes. Ruan Pienaar amongst those who's being replaced. Paul Marshall's coming on. Ian Humphreys is coming on. And so is Ricky Lutton. Again, second Friday running, he's been in the driving seat.
Oh, he's been absolutely fantastic. As Brian said, it's that calm head that makes the decisions. Spots the opportunities out wide when a scrum half digging in around the feet, trying to find the ball. Yet he still had the time and the presence to have a glance over and see where the outside defender is.
Applause for Paddy Jackson and also for Vian Herbst, the tight head. Immediately Marshall involved, immediately Humphreys involved. Quattrino getting himself involved and then chipping it through for Vincent Clair. Swept up by Marshall.
He's defended well today. Luke Marshall playing in an unaccustomed 13 position. Swept in behind when he needed to. Played soft, as Ben pointed out earlier on in the game. I think he's had a really, really strong game.
Quest.
One go.
His first try continues. Julien Marchand finding Lamberley again. And Marchand puts his shoulder to the wheel and taps the ball under his arm. He's still got it.
That's brilliant defence. Been done for side entry, but right up until that point, superb from Ulster.
Dusan to Corey. Dusan once more. This is Maestri. Dusan, McAllister lost forward.
Entry.
There's a bit more defending for Ulster to do, but they have defended well in this first 65 minutes.
Maestri's struggling now as well, though. They haven't got many back 5 of the scrum players left.
I'm going to speak to... no, I thought just someone came in the side. Just be careful on the timing of the landing, not getting down. But... Oh, I've not seen that, but I'll look at it, yeah.
Nice position for Ulster to be in, but what was it, 17 minutes left, subbing off some of their important players, bringing on fresh legs, knowing that they're going to have a pretty nasty day at the office next week, with a bit of retribution coming potentially from this Toulouse side that have been very, very disappointing. They'll get lambasted, no doubt, from their new coach, and I think we'll see a completely different outfit over Ernest Wellan next week.
Maestro is limping. He's been replaced by Edwin Maka. Interesting to see if Maestro is fit for next weekend. We know that Picamol is injured. Starting to suffer a little bit, but Ulster was suffering before this match. Now then, the drive for the line from that hooker, Julien Marchand. They're that close to scoring for the first time in the match. Dusatois has it. Camera once more, rangy, strong.
Behind the back feet.
Maka offering himself, readying himself. Still the white shirts. Jean-Marc Doussaint waiting alongside the skipper Dusatois. Doussaint has it now. Hard work from Ricky Lutton, who's just come on.
Just the defence here, the way they're putting those Toulouse players back on the ruck that they've just come out of. It slows everything down, allows you to get your defenders back on their feet.
Dusatois held up by Wilson. The ball's gone loose. It's a defence that'll please almost as much as the 4 tries that they've scored. Cleared away by Marshall, who looks like he might have pulled a muscle or something in the act of clearing. He's all right.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, the tackle that goes back from where the guys just come from. So they come round the corner, good hit up, they lose a bit of momentum, but as the pick and go comes in, watch Roger Wilson as he comes in now, puts the guy right back where he's just come from, gets back to his feet. They do it again. Put the man down, and as they pick and go round the corner, they're going to get put back exactly where they've just come from. And it just slows everything down and means that you can get your defenders back on their feet, on the front foot, and the opposition never get that momentum they need when they pick and go around the corner.
McAllister. Almost up to halfway. Doussaint. Here goes Camera running into Wilson. Or rather Henry. Flood. Alexis Palasson has come on. This is Aldegheri.
First man on the ball.
It's hard to believe we're watching the side who, along with Toulon, are chasing Clermont at the top of the top 14. And just a point behind Clermont at the moment. This has been a very sobering evening for Ugo Mola. Now, tomorrow, find out how Racing Metro get on against Northampton. Dan Carter's debut. Victor Matfield and Courtney Law's a heavyweight second row, back row for the Saints. Treviso against Stade Francais as well. BT Sport Extra. Munster against Leicester. An evening at the thunderous Thomond Park. And then Wasps against Bath. Eddie Jones watching on. Highlights from 7:30 of everything that you might have missed or enjoyed previously in the third round of this Champions and Challenge Cup. Rob Herring preparing to throw in, celebrating a new contract recently. That's a lovely throw to pick out Van der Merwe.
Once
14 out of 14 in the set piece, Ulster. Henry, part of that Ulster threshing machine, driving within 5 metres now of the line. Van der Merwe took evasive action, and he had to because Dusatois was looking to bring him down. Come back for the penalty.
Ben, these are the sort of nights that you just want to go on and on and on. I'm sure you've had plenty of them in Welford Road.
Not if you're wearing a black shirt.
No, obviously, but when you're playing against top-class opposition and you're doing a job in them like 31-0, 80 minutes is never long enough.
You just saw that the bit of defence that I highlighted. They don't need to do that now. The game's won. They don't need to compete that hard at everyone, but they want to nil this team. That would make it extra special. And you just feel that you can see that swagger in every Ulster player out there tonight.
Won by Van der Merwe. Once again, the Rock solid set piece, setting up another position.
That's a penalty.
And Van der Merwe's doing so well to keep that off the floor. They're going to get a 5th try. Ulster's 125th European game this. This is one of the special ones. Oh, this is one of the special ones. They've taken the 4-time champions Toulouse to the dry cleaners.
Your advantage as well.
Yeah, such a tight setup. They took the initial hit. And Toulouse just couldn't do anything as the pressure came back on. They lost their primary defender who rolled underneath. Here they're a little bit high, they get knocked back, but look, they work hard to get that body position low, the ball to the back. If Toulouse lose their defender underneath, they don't panic, they just step over him. Toulouse lose another one underneath, and they just roll right over the line. No way any black shirts are going to get through there, tight as anything.
And the try scorer Franco van der Merwe has just been replaced by Clive Ross. Alan Clark leading the celebrations. New kicker, Ian Humphries. Oh, well, that popped in at the corner shot on the way to crossing the bar. It's 38-0. That's right, Les. 38-0 against Toulouse.
Just waiting for the crowd to start singing, easy, easy.
I'm not sure how we feel about the noun to be nilled, but if you're happy enough with it, then they were last nilled in September 2013, Toulouse against Montpellier. Well, they might not be singing easy at Ravenhill, but they are starting to sing Can We Play You Every Week.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, well, you
get that next
you're
week.
playing them next weekend, so...
Hold on. Wait, please.
This is
Use it!
Aldegari. Toussaint. This is Takori. Getting confirmation, by the way, having rechecked the replays, that it was Chris Henry right at the bottom of that pile of bodies that scored the try. So Henry, the try scorer, the 5th try scorer. Chris Hollins is about to have a chat with Paddy Jackson. Let's just see this ball into touch. Not far from them. Chris.
Paddy Jackson is with us right now. Paddy, our commentator's going a little bit mad. 38-0, we can't believe it. Can you believe it?
It wasn't how exactly we thought the game was going to go. We knew we wanted to play with tempo and move the ball about a bit against a big pack like that. So I think we knew once we got into our flow, a score like this could be possible, but to be honest, we were just looking for the win, so it's added bonus to get the bonus point and such a big score. Yeah,
you've played an open game of rugby, not necessarily associated with Leinster, but you're back in this competition. It must fill you at Ulster with so much confidence.
Yeah, we were pretty disappointed after the Saracens game here at home, and we felt that we kind of owed ourselves and the crowd one after that game, so I'm just glad that we've done that so far tonight, and I think it's been a good evening for Ulster Rugby.
Paddy Jackson, thank you very much indeed. Have a good rest.
Still just 23, Paddy. He's played in the final of one of these things against Brian's bunch. Very bright young player.
Every single breakdown, Chris Henry's in there. He's in there again, making the tackles. Such a high work rate.
This is Camera, ball off the floor, delivered to him. Held on to by Aldegari. European debut against Saracens, his first start last time out against Oyonnax. Toulouse, as they always do, building their own young players as well. They might spend a bit of money when they need to, but they've got a more than decent academy. front row all part of it, and they're all on now. They will put this down as part of their education. Toussaint, McAllister, Edwin Maka. He's going absolutely nowhere. O'Connor drives him back. Toussaint, Dusatois. Flood. Toussaint once more. McAllister and Camera.
They've completely lost their shape, Nick. If you can see the Toulouse, nearly all 15 are inside the inside post. You just can't have that. It's easy to defend against. They just look completely fractured. They're one-off runners. It's almost as if they just want to work the time down and get on to next week already.
The towel's gone in, hasn't it?
Vincent Clare with Herring working his way through. Yeah, he does beaver away to good effect. Rob Herring, when Rory Best needs a breather or he's away with Ireland. My goodness, Rob Herring offers some alternative. McAllister. For Bonneval, had a great deal of change. Late call up for Maxime Medard before the match. Penalty against O'Connor. William Servat standing up. Hugo Mola.
You get the sense there might be one or two people out in town tonight that won't have seen the game. They'll look up the score later on. I think they've had a bit too much to drink.
Rory Scholes about to come on for his European debut, and in years to come he'll say, I came on when we were leading Toulouse 38-0. Yeah, of course.
40. One stop. Yeah, is he back on? All done. Watch on.
One of the try scorers makes way. Toulouse still on the hunt for their first of what has been an incredibly uncomfortable evening, but they've got decent shape here, and they've got a penalty. The ball has been lost, picked up by Takori, and it was stolen by Robbie Dayak. Man of the match time, Ben.
Well, it's been some outstanding performances. I think Luke Marshall's been superb. Chris Henry involved in all the dark arts stuff. But for me, it's an easy choice, despite the number of great performances. As Henry goes up to steal the ball, my Heineken man of the match goes to the man who ran the show, made all the decisions early on, created a try with his crossfield kick. His excellent pass to Trimble for his try. My Heineken man of the match is Ruan Peanut.
He was outstanding. Toby Flooders.
Back you go.
Toulouse continue to hammer away. It'll be a penalty. Luke Marshall waltzing his way through.
No advantage.
Wow. Vincent Clare. Final seconds. Well, they've seen something they'll remember for a long, long time.
Scrum and that will be it. Scrum and that will be it.
One more scrum.
Just as this final whistle goes, Nick, I think the Ulster players need to temper any celebrations. Yes, it's been a historic victory for them, but they do have to go to one of the most difficult places to play European rugby, to the home of Toulouse next week, so they should keep that in mind, shake hands and get off the pitch as soon as they possibly can.
Paul Marshall, Craig Gilroy, all heading to the Stade Ernest Vallon next Sunday.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
One last set piece to negotiate. They've been perfect in the set pieces all evening. They've been nigh on perfect in most other areas of the game all evening. One of those famous Friday nights in Belfast. Toulouse, for the first time in their golden European history, pointless. Ulster 38, Toulouse 0. 38-0.
It wasn't just one area they dominated, was it? We saw the forwards rumbling over for their try. The scrum went well. It cut them apart early on in the back line, out wide. Just an all-round performance, and something that, as Brian was saying before, the sort of game that when you look back on your career, you remember as being exceptionally special.
Yeah, terrific. We were asking beforehand whether they could back up a decent performance against Edinburgh last week. Well, we certainly got that in spades. But now comes the real test, whether they can go away, as you mentioned, to a very, very difficult place. A lot of teams have been on the receiving end of that sort of scoreline in Ernest Vallon. And those Toulouse players will remember, what it's felt like here and that disappointment.
Saracens very much in charge of this, Paul, still after the win here. They go to Oyonnax on Sunday, but my goodness, Ulster saying this was non-negotiable, and it was non-negotiable. They've got the win they needed. Williams, Trimble, Marshall, McCloskey and Henry, they've got all 5 points against Toulouse, and we can start to wrap up the reaction with Chris Hollins.
Yeah, I'm joined by man of the match, Ruben Pienaar. Look, 38-0 here. Ulster, fantastic victory. Just put into words, you're a veteran here, what this means to the club.
First I just want to give glory to God. I think it was a fantastic performance by the boys. Obviously we disappointed ourselves against Saracens a couple of weeks ago, and to put up a performance like that has been fantastic for us. Still a long way to go. I think it's taken us a while to put on a performance like that, but we'll take this and enjoy it tonight, but Monday the hard work starts again.
Seriously back in the competition now, obviously getting a bonus point there and keeping Toulouse to 0. They've never done that in Europe before, not scored a single point in a match. I mean, which makes you prouder, the 38 points or the 0?
I guess both. We pride ourselves on our defence, and I thought the boys showed a lot of character, especially at the end there. It was a fantastic performance, really a team effort, and like I said, we'll enjoy this, but a long way to go. We're in a really tough group, and we know that, so this is not going to mean anything if we don't back it up next week again.
Yeah, I mean, and that is going to be a tough game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think any French team at home is dangerous. We know Toulouse is a fantastic team. We respect them a lot, but I think it will be a different ball game next week over there.
Ruben Pienaar, you are the man of the match, the Heineken man of the match. Patmar giving you the trophy. Congratulations.